that nice clean truck. We're going out to the field to do some more mowing. And the AC seems to work here a little bit. Doesn't quite blow as fast as it should. But it is blowing. My uncle's on the rake out there. He's gonna rake the field I did in the last video. Not that field, but the field out here. Hope he doesn't usually follow me. She used to. She always used to. Rocket had to be tied up because I don't like how he runs so close to the mower. The mower could like shoot rocks out of it, so I don't really want dogs in the mower. Hope he stays away from the machines most of the time. My favorite part of driving. Riding in the fields. Rake this field here. Mowed this in the last video. Last cane video. It sounds like a diesel without that exhaust. I like that. So I think this farm has owned this field for about, maybe 12 years, 10 years maybe. I remember I was pretty young when they bought this field. And this is where the big John Deere came from. So The 1330 John Deere, the guy that had this field had that tractor here. It had a loader on it. And so that's where the big John Deere came from. But that tractor is kind of a junk tractor. It doesn't really work that well. But I mean, it did do some work for a few years. I like the engine in it. It's an inline 6. I wish they made more inline 8 engines. Those things sound so good. They sound like the inline 6, but better. So I mowed all this. I should have filmed it. I was editing the video today and yesterday. I posted it today, the last haying video. And I looked at the time lapse I did at the back of the mower was quite satisfying. So I should have done that here. So I'm going to do that here. But first I need to grease the mower. Thing needs some death fluid. Look at how I got this tripod in here. It's stuck there. It doesn't want to move. That's a good place for it. my uncle brought this out here. This is a good system, so when you have the tractor with a machine on the back, you just get your pallet forks, strap a tiny tank to a pallet, and then you got fuel. And this one's a battery operated, so you just put the cables on there and then fill it up. We're out here on day 2. I finished that field yesterday. The camera died, and then I did finish, so the whole field there is done. And the rake had an issue, a bearing blew, and my advice is I don't have the rake to show an example, but the bearings on the end of these things, this is off the rake. These bearings, they break when you wiggle these, and then the bearings get loose. You change them before you go out raking, or if you really have to do some raking, order new bearings and have them ready to go on your tractor with the tools or something. Because when those bearings blow, this thing comes off, and we don't have the part ready. This is the wrong part. That's for something might not even be for any of our machines. I don't know what that's for. But then the old bearings will now someone's got to go to town to get new parts. And the rake is working with this thing off. It's got 6 of these. So with one missing, it broke down like right here somewhere. And you see there's a little bit of stuff on the ground. So my uncle's raking right now. It is working, but it's not the best. And so I'm going to park my truck somewhere out of the way over there. And then I'm going to go mowing. There's a section down the hill there. And I'm going to go mow that. And then the mowing will be done in this area of the farm. And then we'll be going way over there to what we call our grizzly field. And back in the 80s or something, someone was logging in there and they saw a grizzly. So grizzly started running at them or something. They were fine, but the grizzly scared them. So they called that field the grizzly field. But there really aren't any other grizzlies. Grizzlies are kind of rare around here. I haven't seen them all over. Black bears are pretty common. Black bears are pretty harmless, but no, stay away from bears. Don't go patting them. Well, don't try to pat them, but yeah. This field, my uncle's raking. I think the rake will work with this thing off, but let's go mow that field over there. Also, this is what I bought this truck for. It's a service truck, so keep all your tools. You can take something like that home with you. So this is a great farm truck. No, it does have a smaller cab. So this is a pretty good farm truck. Glad I bought this, and it's running. Might not last forever, but I paid like nothing. I paid $200 for this thing. So that's a good deal for a $200 truck. That rhymes. So I got those fields done. So the camera ran out of juice and I didn't have a charger. Oh, look at that. Where's the cap for that? I should find that. The cap went missing. So now there's where'd that cap go? I think that fell. I don't know how did that even get loose? Look at that, there's a cap missing. Well, that's not the worst thing that could happen. If that cap is missing, then the mower probably chopped it up anyway. But that's a problem. Okay, well, that'll fix that. And I'll come back with a quad or something and look for it, but because I fueled up, and then I think I had I unloosened the cap. I was gonna put more DF in it, and it was full or something. So the cap would be I drove over here, so it would be somewhere along here. I might find it, might not. But then I mowed over it, so I don't know. There's a good chance I won't find that again. But we have spare caps at home. I'll just put a different cap on there and put like a piece of tape saying it's only DEF only. I mean, there is this paper here, so I don't think anyone's dumb enough to put diesel in there. So that's still not good that I lost the cap. But then again, it's just a cap. It's not much to worry about. There's more important things to worry about breaking or falling off. There was a mowing down there I did a day ago, and then the day before I did this. So this is, I think, 2 days of this hay being down, and it's nice hot weather, so it should be ready to rake. So usually my mom would be on the rake, but I don't know. I mean, she's doing other stuff. She cooks dinner for everybody. Well, actually, her and my aunt. either way. But she's busy enough, so. I think I'm just doing this so I can film it. I think that's the whole point. But, yeah. This thing needs to be greased. It's amazing how these... I mean, there's lots of grease nipples on this rake. And, see, these... Sometimes the bearings go bad in them. And really, you should change those like that. That's starting to get a bad bearing. But no one changed it. And then we had to just take one of these off. And it actually surprisingly doesn't make much of a difference having one whole row of teeth off. I mean, it still works just fine. So, well, I'll see how it behaves, but yeah, I don't think that's ever happened before. Well, maybe it did. I've never seen that happen where they had to, one side the bearing just broke or something. So we didn't have the part, so we just took the row off, and then my uncle drove it around a bit and realized that really it doesn't make much of a difference. So we might not even bother fixing it for a while anyway, because it's supposed to just get the hang done. So let's grease this, and then let's continue raking all the stuff I mowed. Or let's get as much raking done today as possible, meaning, like 5 hours. But when I was a kid, I used to get bored after 3 hours, and I just can't stand staying on the rake any longer. But now I don't really care. I can stay out here as long as I want and not get bored for some reason. This grease gun is empty. Squeeze it, nothing happens. So I brought a spare tube. Yeah, it's empty. For some reason, this one's dented. There's a big dent in the side. That's not supposed to be dented. This is probably the messiest job. It's greasing machinery and replacing grease tubes. There's like 100% guarantee you're gonna get messy doing it. So the side that has a cap goes in first. So this goes in there. Because there's a cylinder in there, it has to go in this tube and it pushes the grease out. Now we always use the blue grease, but I think the red grease is a bit better since it's thicker, it stays in there better. And for farm machines, on these things, they're greasable bearings, so they're meant to be greased, meaning the grease over time will fall out of them, then you put more grease in. So the grease nipple's on the bearing. It's not a sealed bearing, I don't think. I don't know how it works, but it's a greasable bearing. I think a lot of the farm machines, it's better to use red grease. Thicker, stays in there better. When it's hot out, the blue grease is maybe better in the winter, but really you aren't using a farm. Like if you're using a loader on a tractor, the red grease is just better because there's no bearings. They don't have to move super fast. But if you have bearings, in the wintertime it's cold, the blue grease might be a bit better. But the red stuff stays in there longer. I think red stuff is better for farm machines in the summertime. the hotter the temperature. It's not that hot today. It's like hardly, no, it's like 20 something degrees right now. It'll get hotter though. Make sure that's screwed in there all the way. And then there's a spring in there, and this thing, so this can move the cylinder out, but it doesn't interfere with it going in. And then there's a cylinder that's springed, so it wants to go in. So it forces it has pressure. Well, not pressure, but tension or whatever. But then there's a pump in there, so it just forces it up to the pump. And that's how you get grease. But you grease them until you see grease come out somewhere. But this isn't the case with all bearings, so. But you can see that grease comes out a bit, and then you know there's new grease going in there. I'm pretty clever with how I get these tripods to stay on the backs of these tractors. So that's the best I can get it. think that only took me 3.5 hours. That's a record. And I was going pretty fast in this thing. I was going high range too. So, I've never gone that fast. And that thing with one missing almost makes no difference at all. So that's kind of hard to believe that you can operate the rake with that thing missing like that. Going that fast. I challenged it. And it did a great job. It didn't get clogged once. And then this is a thicker crop. So after everything is baled, then I'll do the corners. So I think there's 5 because there's a weird angle over there. And then after this is baled, then there's the field down that hill there by the road. And then that field will need to be raked. And then after that, then we have one last field to do on the other side of our property that way. And, well, actually it's mowed. Well, part of it's been mowed, but the other part needs to be mowed. So I'll have to mow it and then rake it. But I think it's going to rain on the weekend or something, so it's just a matter of that baler keeping up over there. So as long as the baler just keeps working, it'll get all this done. It's just a huge field, though. So hopefully he can get it all baled before it rains. But if it rains on it, it'll probably just dry out again. I'll probably get it baled, and then, yeah, we're almost done haying. We're mostly done. But, you know, if the machines are fast, you can really get stuff done. I'm back the same day, and my uncle said it's ready to rake down there, so I thought it needs to dry out some more, but I guess with the heat, it should be dry enough. So this crop is very thick for being a small field. But the reason that is because it's all on the side of a hill and it's shady here. So the plants don't get too much sun. You know, they get just enough, but not too much. And it's on a hill and water seeps out of the hill. So the grass is perfectly watered. It just gets more moisture than usual. So this crop is like, for being such a dry year, that field up there is usually our best producer, and there's bald patches on it. So I mean, this is an insanely good crop for this year. Decide, on top of that, it's a dry year. So, once this is the same story. Once this is baled up, I'll do the corners, and once the other place is baled, I'll do the corners up there, and then we're done here in this area, and then we're going out to the last field to be hayed, and then everything's baled up, and then all the people that are over 19 can get drunk, and all the people under 19 can drink Perrier, and yeah, and we'll have a party because everything will be baled up.